Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will make a memo kind of application from scratch. Before we begin, let me tell you that if you are a complete beginner in the field of Java or Android, then this video might not be suitable for you. I would recommend you to have the basics before jumping to this video. Now let's have a look on what we will be building today. We can add notes, give it a title. Let's say this is a title and this is the body of the note. We can give it a color, let's say orange, and save note. You can see the note, and for editing you can swipe left, edited note, and let's say give it a green color and update note. Now it's updated. For deleting, you can just swipe right and it will be deleted. So we'll be building this application today. So let's start. I have already created the project. Now I'll divide the video into three parts. In the first part, I'll be importing the libraries which I need. In the second part, I'll design the user interface. And in the third part, we will write the Java code for the functionality. So let's import the libraries first. Go to the app level build.gradle. Now inside the dependencies, I'll give two dependencies. I'll be using butter knife for mapping of views. So implementation com.jakewharton.butter knife. Sorry, it's not a dot. It's not a dot. Colon butter knife colon 10.2.1, and the annotation processor for this butter knife, annotation processor com.jakewharton colon butter knife compiler 10.2.1. I'll also add a material design library. Implementation com.google.android.material material 1.1.0. Now let's sync. I guess it's done. So we have imported all the dependencies for our project. Now I'll go to values and colors.xml. I'll define two colors. The first one is white, and the second one is black. Let's start with the user interface designing. We go to activity main.xml. I'll use a relative layout. Now I forgot to do one thing, that is to go to styles.xml and remove the action bar. Now since there is no action bar, we have to create it, and I'll be using relative layout to create a custom toolbar. I'll use a relative layout, and the width will be match parent, and height will be 55 dp. Instead of 55 dp, you can give it an attribute action bar size. Let's give it a background white. Sorry, @color / white, and I'll give it an ID of toolbar. Now I'll give a text view inside this with wrap content and wrap content. Text would be notes. Text color, text style, let's say bold. Text color would be black, and center vertical, I'll set it to true. I'll have to give a margin left. So margin left, let it be let's say 20 dp, and I'll increase the text size to 24 sp. Let's add a add button. For that I'll be using an image view, and I'll give it a width of, let's say 35 dp, and height of again 35 dp, and the src tint of black, and I have to import the icon now. So I'll go to right click on drawable, new, vector asset. I'll take this one. It's already black color, so it's okay. Next, and finish. Now we have our icon imported. We can write src equals to @drawable and our icon name. Now I'll have to set it to center vertical true and align parent right true, and let's give it a margin right of, let's say, 20 dp. I guess the toolbar is ready, and yeah, the most important thing is id, and I'll give it an id of add note. Outside of the toolbar, I'll give a recycler view for displaying all the nodes. So recycler view, width will be match parent, height will be wrap content, and it will be below toolbar, and I'll give it an ID of nodes recycler. Now we will make the layout for add node. So go to layout, right click and new layout resource file, activity add node, and press enter. We'll replace this by relative layout. And I'll give it a background of a grayish color. Let's say F1, F1, F1. Again, we have to make the toolbar. I'll be using a relative layout. Relative layout, match parent, and wrap content. Sorry, not wrap content. Let's give it attr slash action bar size. Let's give it a background color of white, and an ID of toolbar. For the back button, we will give an image view, 35 dp, and height 35 dp as well. Print would be black, ID, let's say back btn, center vertical s2, and a margin left of 20 dp. I have to import the image again, the icon. So right click on drawable, vector asset, take this icon, next, finish. Icon is imported, so src, and I'll select this icon, looks good, and I'll give it a text view, wrap content, a text, let's say add note, center vertical s2, text size s24 sp, text color as black, text style bold, and to the right of back button. Sorry, back button. I guess this is okay. I forgot to give an ID. ID of, let's say, header. Now the toolbar is done. Now for the inputs, I'll take to edit text. I'll give it width of match parent and height of, let's say, 40 dp, margin 10 dp, and layout below toolbar. I'll give it an ID as title, hint, title, padding left as 10 dp, text color, let's say black, and text style bold. Now this edit text doesn't look good, so for styling it we will make a drawable XML. Right click on drawable, new, drawable resource file, and let's call it edit text underscore bg. Okay, give it a shape of rectangle, a solid color of white, and corners let's say radius 7 dp, and stroke width will be 2 dp, and color would be the primary color. Guess it's okay. So I'll set the background to edit text VG. Now it's looking good. I'll make another edit text for the body of the note. So I'll just copy this and paste it below. Change it the ID to body. Here write something, and it will be below title. Height, let's increase the height such that it looks like a text area. I'll give it a gravity top, a padding of 5 dp. No, I guess it's okay. Let's remove the text style bold. Now for the colors, text view, grab content, call it color, or maybe select color. It will be below the body. Text style bold, text color black, and let's give it a margin of 10 dp. Now we have to make 4 colors. For that I'll be using linear layout. So here I'll make the, let's give a comment, color palette, I'll use linear layout. Width would be match parent and height would be, let's say, 70 dp. Weight sum would be 4 because we'll be giving 4 colors. Orientation will be horizontal. And margin, again give it at 10 dp. Now for each of the colors, I'll use a view. Width will be 0 dp because it will be defined by the linear layout. Height will be match parent. Margin 10 dp. ID white color. And layout weight would be 1. This is the most important. And let's set the linear layout to be below color title. And let's give it an ID of color title. Similarly, I'll just copy and paste it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I'll change it to orange color. This one was, I guess, this one was yellow color. So yellow color, and this one was green. So green color. Now you cannot see anything because I have not set the background. For the background, I'll again make it drawable. Right click on drawable, new, drawable resource file. Let's give it a name, circular color list. Press enter. Shape of rectangle. Let's give it a solid color. Color white. And stroke of, let's say, black. And you have to declare a width of stroke, that would be 2 dp. The corners, sorry, corners would be radius, say 50 dp. Now I'll set this circular color list to each one of the views. So the background would be circular color list. I'll just copy this line, paste it to each one of them. I'll give it tint color. This one should be orange. So for the orange, I'll use as C3FF5722. For the yellow color, I'll use has F0 FFE B3B. For the green color, I'll use has 96 E889. Now I'll set the tint mode, this background tint mode, as multiply. I'll just copy this line, paste it to each one of them. Now just the button is left. So for the button, I'll give a button of width as match parent, height as, let's say, 50 dp. I'll set a text color as black, text to save note, and I'll align it to parent bottom. Now background, I'll give it the color primary. Let's give it a text size of 18 sp and a text color. So text color should be white, and text size is 16 and text style bold. So our add note activity is ready. Now for showing each of the nodes in the recycler view, we have to give a row layout, a custom row layout to the recycler view. We will build the row layout as well. Go to layout, right click new, layout resource file. Let's say recycler row layout, hit enter. I'll use a relative layout. I'll use the IDS card. Why I'm doing this, you'll get to know it later. I'll set a layout height as wrap content and a margin of 5 dp. I'll give it text view for the title. Width would be match parent, height would be wrap content, text, let's say this is title, text color, say black, text style bold, text size, let's say 16 SP, text alignment center, and let's give it a margin. Let's give it a margin of 10 dp. The ID as title, and you can set a typeface as well. Let's give a typeface of sans. Okay, let's give it serif. This looks good. Now for the body, again a text view. It could be match parent and wrap content. Layout below the title. Give it a margin of 10 dp. Say text, this is the body. Now you don't want the body to be more than 100 lines. If someone writes 100 lines and it will display 100 lines, so we will give it a max lines as 3 and ellipsize end. So at the end it will give 3 dots. To give it a text size as 14 SP and text color as black. Yeah, I forgot the ID as body. It's okay. So our row layout is ready. We can now proceed for the Java coding. So I'll begin with the main activity. So in the main activity, I'll map all the views which I've declared in XML. So for that, I'll be using butter knife. If you don't use butter knife, you have to use find view by ID each and every time, and makes the code look messy. So I'll be using butter knife. I'll use butter knife library to map the XML views to Java. So butter knife dot bind this. This is actually referring to the context. So if you people don't know how butter knife actually works, butter knife creates another Java file. So for example, if I'm using butter knife on main activity, it will create another Java file named main activity underscore view binding.java. In that Java file, all the views will be explicitly mapped, so you don't have to do it. So I just write butter knife.bind this, and at the compile time, it will automatically generate main activity underscore view binding.java. So before I proceed with this, I actually need a Pojo class for my node. So I'll create a Pojo class here. I right click here, new Java class, and I'll write models dot note. So inside the model class it will create, inside the models package it will create a node class. My node will have a ID, a color which will be an integer obviously, then a title, a body, and a date of creation. I'll create an empty constructor and parameterize constructor, and a getter setter. So my node class is ready. Now I need my database manager. So I'll be using Sqlite Database. So for that I'll create a new class. Right click, Java class, and inside the utils package I will create a DB manager class. Now you have to extend this to Sqlite Open Helper for it to act as a database class. So you have to implement some methods to override them. So inside the onCreate, this will create the database, and I have to create a constructor. Actually, not a simple constructor. This will be a Singleton class. So for a database, we should always use Singleton class. Singleton classes have only one instance. So like you don't want more than one instances to access your database. So Singleton class helps you in doing that. So for creating a Singleton class, I make a private constructor of this class, private DB manager, and I have to pass the context as the parameter. And I have to pass these things to the super class. The version is 1. So I have to declare this DB name variable. I'll declare it here. Private static final string DB name. It will be, let's say, nodes DB, and private static final string table name. So I'll call it tbl underscore name and notes underscore tbl. tbl. Now for each of the columns, I have to do the similar thing. So I'll just press Ctrl D to duplicate this line. So this one be for the ID, this one be for color, this one is for the title, this one is for the body, this one is for the date. So ID, color, title, body, date. Now since the constructor is private, you have to do some things so that another class can actually create an instance of this class. So if it's a private constructor, any other class won't be able to call it. So uh, I'll give a private static variable of my manager class and I'll call it instance and set it to null, and I'll give a public static, it will return the instance and get instance. So if the instance is null, then we will call the constructor, pass the context. If it's not null, then we will simply return the instance. Now in the on create, I have to create the database. So I'll write a database creation SQL statement. So create table and give it the table name. I'll set the ID as primary key. Title will be text. Similarly, body will be text. Similarly, date. And the color. Color will be an integer. Alright, so on create is fine now. In the on upgrade, we will drop the database at first. Drop table if exists and the table name, and then we will again call on create with the db. Now you need some methods inside this class which you will be needing later. So I'm leaving it for now. Now in the main activity, I have to map the views. So @bind view r.id dot add node. This was an image view. Say add node. Then I have the recycler view. So bind view r.id dot recycler nodes recycler. So recycler view nodes recycler. I'll need a DB manager here. So DB manager, let's call it manager. I'll initialize my manager class here. So DB manager dot get instance, and for the context I'll pass this. Now for the recycler view, I'll set the layout manager to linear layout manager, and for the parameter it takes the context, the orientation, and reverse layout will be false. Now you need an adapter which would be set to nodes recycler. So for that adapter, I'll make a new class, Java class. Inside the adapter package, let's call it nodes adapter. Now it will extend recycler view dot adapter, and for each view you have to make a static inner class. Let's call it my view holder, and it will extend recycler view dot view holder. Now let's make the constructor. It will take view as an argument, and it will pass it to the superclass. Now the type would be nodes adapter dot my view holder. Now you will implement the override the methods from the superclass. These three methods we will override. Now we'll give a constructor for this class, just nodes adapter. It will take two values, context and array list, which will contain nodes. Let's give an instance variables also. Private context and private array list nodes. Now set it to the instance variables. So this one is ready. Now get item count will actually be the number of nodes which you have. So that will be equal to your array list dot size. For each view, you have to return the view holder. So I'll say view equals to, I will inflate the layout using the layout inflator class. So layout inflator dot from, and you have to pass the context. So I already have the context. If you don't have the context, you can pass parent dot get context. So both are correct. So context dot inflate r dot layout dot recycler row layout, comma parent, comma false. Now you will return the instance of my view holder with the view parameter. Now here you have to map the values from XML to Java. So for that again I'll be using butter knife. So this is not actually an activity, so we cannot write butter knife dot bind this. This is actually wrong. So what we'll do is we will pass view this and the view. Now we have to again bind views. So @bind view r dot id dot would be title, and it was a text view. Let's call it title, and again a bind view with r dot id dot body. Let's call it body. Now bind view r dot id dot card, and it was a relative layout, so relative layout card. Now the on bind view holder is the most important method. For each and every row this method is called. So inside the on bind view holder I'll say holder dot title dot set text, which will be notes dot get position dot get title. In the holder and body also I'll do the same thing. Notes dot get position dot get body. Now for the card background, let's say holder dot card dot set background tint list, and it will take a color state list dot value of. I have to pass the color, so color is inside notes dot get position dot get color. Alright, this one is done. Yeah, so I'll make an instance of the adapter, nodes adapter, and let's call it adapter. Now I have to initialize this, but for that adapter equals to new nodes adapter. I have to pass the context, so this, and for the nodes I need a nodes array list. So from where will I go to get that? I'll get that from my database. So you have to write a method in the database manager class which will return all the nodes. So I'll give a public, it will return an array list of node, and let's call it get all nodes. So make an array list of node and for accessing the Sqlite database, I'll create db this dot get readable database. So I am for the query I am only reading the database, so I don't read a writable database. For reading from MySQL, I'll use a cursor db.raw query, and I'll say select star from table name, and I don't want to specifically select any rows, so selection args would be none. Now while cursor dot move to next, I have to get all the values. Int id equals to cursor dot get int cursor dot get column index, and I have to pass the column name. Then again int color equals to cursor dot get int cursor dot get column index, and I'll pass column name. Now string title equals to cursor dot get string cursor dot get column index and title. String body equals to cursor dot get string cursor dot get column index body. String date cursor dot get string cursor dot get column index date. Now I will simply add all these values to my list. So I'll create a new node and I'll pass all these as a parameter: ID, color, title, body, and date. And now I'll return the list. So here we can declare an array list of node let's import it, nodes. Now in the nodes I'll say manager dot get all nodes, and I'll simply pass this nodes my adapter. Now I can say nodes recycler dot set adapter as adapter. Now we need another activity for adding nodes. So for that I'll create a new activity, new Java class, and I'll call it add node activity. It will extends app compat activity, and it will implement on create. Set content view r dot layout dot activity add node. So each and every activity should be declared in the manifest. So I'll declare it here. Activity name is add node activity. Yeah, just this. In the add node activity, I'll again map the views using butter knife. Since this is an activity, I'll just pass this as the parameter. @bind view r.id dot title, that was an edit text, so title @bind view r.id dot body, that was edit text, call it body, @bind view r.id dot was a back btn, that was an image view, call it back btn. There was a submit button, so r.id dot give it a id. Yes. I forgot to give an id. I give it an id as save btn. Let's call it save btn. It's a button, save btn. Now there was a header. It was a text view. Let's call it header. And there are 4 color palettes. So bind view r.id dot white color. It was a view, so white color, and I'll copy and paste this 3 more times. This will be orange, this will be yellow, this will be green. Let's change this. Orange, yellow, green. For now, let's leave this. Alright, let's complete the DB manager class. I'll be needing methods for inserting a new node. So public void insert node, and it will take a parameter of node. Again, Sqlite Database DB equals to this get. This time it will be a writable database. For insertion of values, I'll be using content values. So cv.put color node dot get color, cv.put body node dot get body, cv.put title node.get title, cv.put date node.get date. I am not putting the ID since it's auto increment. So I'll write db.update table name with the content values. Sorry, not update. It should be db.insert table name and the content values. There will be a second parameter which will be null. For updating a node, public void update node, it will again take node as a parameter. So Sqlite Database db equals to this get writable database. Again content values, cv equals to new content values. I'll just copy and paste these things. Now db.update table name with the content values where id equals to I'll pass the id this way, integer.toString node.get id. So this id will actually replace the question mark. Now a function to delete, public void delete node. It will take id as a parameter. Sqlite database db equals to this dot get writable database. Now db dot delete from table name where id equals to again this id will be replaced with question mark. Alright, I guess our manager class is complete. So I'll go to my main activity. I put an on resume. This is a life cycle method. When the activity is resumed, this method will be called. So I'll say nodes equals to manager dot get all nodes, and I'll say adapter equals to new nodes adapter, this comma nodes, and nodes recycler dot set adapter. Now in the in the add node activity, when we click the save btn set on click listener, I am using lambda functions. So On clicking save btn, I actually need a DB manager here. Private DB manager, and I have to initialize it here. Manager equals to DB manager.get instance this. On side here, I'll say manager dot insert node and new node. So go to this, and as the parameters it will take ID. Since ID is auto increment, I'll pass 0. For the color, it would be, let's take another variable, private int array of colors, and a private int selected position. It will be set to 0 at first. Now for each and every color, we will set the selected position. For the white color dot set on click listener, again I am using lambda functions. Selected pos would be 0. For the orange color dot set on click listener, selected pos would be 1. Similarly for the other two. For the yellow dot set on click listener, alright, and for the back button on click, I'll just close this activity by calling finish. Now for the colors array, the simplest thing would be to declare it in my XML file. Go to res values, then colors.xml. Here I'll declare an array. I'll say color palette. It won't be integer, it will be array. So inside this, I'll have 4 items. First one would be white. Second one would be orange. Third one is yellow. Fourth one is green. Now I'll access it here. Get resources dot get int array, and I'll say r dot array dot color palette. Now I can pass colors selected was. Now it's the title, so title dot get text dot toString, then body dot get text dot toString, then it will be new date dot to locale string. Alright, and I will finish this activity. Let's toast a message as well so that we know that it's done. So note save. I guess it should work. So let's run and see. So this is the app. Click on nodes. Okay, sorry, I didn't click. Go to main activity. For the add node, I have to put listener. So set on click listener. I'll start a new activity. New intent. This and add node activity dot class. Yes, now it should work. So let's put a title. This is title and this is body. I'll select orange color and I click on save node, and yeah, it's saved. So it's not colored. Alright, let's see why it's not color. Okay, so we have to set a background for the row layout which we had given. So for this relative layout, we have to set a background. So for the background, I'll actually make a new style drawable resource file. I'll call it card bg. So again, shape would be rectangle, color would be white, and corners let's say radius 5 degree. So I'll set a background to garbagey. I guess it should work now. Yeah, so now it works. Let's add another note and see. This is second note, second title. This is second body. Let's be green color and save note. Yeah, looks good. So now the thing which is left is swipe to delete and update. So that's actually a tricky part. So in the main activity, after we set the layout manager, I'll write item touch helper dot simple callback equals to new item touch helper dot simple callback. It has two methods. We will not actually use on move method, so we will not use this method. We have to pass some parameters. The first parameter is I guess it should be null. Oh, sorry. The first parameter is 0. Then the second parameter would be item touch helper dot left or item touch helper dot right. We want left and right movement only, so we'll write only left and right. If you want top and bottom movement, you can give item touch helper dot top, item touch helper dot down. So in the direction, so the direction is 8 when we swipe right, and direction is 4 when we swipe left. So we write the logic for it. If direction equals to 8, then we write it's a delete for manager.delete node, and we will first delete it from our database. So we have to pass the ID. So nodes.get, and for the position we have to use the view holder dot get adapter position. Now you can access get ID. Now we remove this ID from our nodes array list as well. View holder dot get adapter position. Now adapter dot notify item removed. Again view holder dot get adapter position. So that's all for delete. Now for the update, it's a little bit more tricky. So else if direction equals to 4, we use bundle. This bundle will put the node and send it to add node activity. So bundle dot put parse label, put parse label, and the first one is the key and the second one would be node dot get view holder dot get adapter position. So now you see a red mark. It is just because nodes is not parseable. So you have to make it parseable at first. So we'll go to the nodes model, and we'll write implements parseable. Now you have to implement some methods, that is describe content, write to parser. So for the describe content, you don't have to do anything. Here you have to write destination dot write int id, destination dot write int color, destination dot write string, let's make title, destination dot write string body. Now destination dot write string date. And one more thing is the creator. So you have to add creator. So now it should work. The error should have gone. Yeah, the error is gone. So now I will just simply make an intent main activity dot this and add node activity dot class, and I'll put the bundle dot put extra. I'll call it bundle and I will put bundle. Now add the start activity with the intent. Now when we want to update, start activity goes, the intent actually goes with a bundle. So we have to handle that in add node activity. In the add node activity, I'll keep a variable private boolean is edit and I'll set it to false. If it's an edit, then this variable will be set to true. Now for handling the intent, I'll write if get intent dot get bundle extra, write bundle, this is not equals to null, then okay, I have to take one more variable, private note note. So note will be equal to get intent dot get bundle extra bundle dot get parseable, and that was note, and I'll set is edit to true. Now if it's an edit, then we have to set I'm not sure the heading, bind view r.id dot header. Alright, I have already imported the header. So header dot set text, say edit note, save btn dot set text, update note, title dot set text note dot get title, and body dot set text note dot get body. Now inside this save button, if it is an edit, if it's an edit, then we have to say note dot set title, it will be equal to title dot get text dot to string, and note dot set body, body dot get text dot to string, and note dot set color, it will be colors selected was, and now manager dot update note and finish. Let's also give it a toast saying note updated. Yes, it should work now. So let's check. Let's run the app. Now let me try to update the second one. Oh, sorry, I forgot to set in the main activity. I forgot to set the callback to the recycler view, so I have to attach, I have to say notes, the callback dot Okay, I have to say item touch helper. Let's call it ith equals to new item touch helper, and I'll pass the callback. Then ith dot attach to recycler view, and I'll pass the recycler view as the parameter. Now it should work. If we swipe left, let's say title updated and set it to yellow color. Update note updated. If we delete the first one, alright, it's working. Alright, now if you want to animate the recycler view item so that the user gets to know that the recycler view items are swipeable, so what you can do is go to the adapter, and here I'll write holder.itemView.animate dot set duration, let's say 1500 seconds, dot translation x 100 dot start. Now you don't want to start this animation as soon as the view loads. So what you will do is I'll set a set start delay of 1 second. Yeah, see, now this way you can give more animations to bring it back to the real position. It will be translation x0 and start delay, let's say 2000. Alright, it doesn't work because the listeners are conflicting. So what I can do is I can use handler equals to new handler. Sorry. Handler equals to new you can write handler equals to new handler. Is it not getting imported? You have to import handler.os. From the handler.os package, you have to import handler, then handler.postDelayed. Now I'm again using lambda function. You have to give the delay. The first one, let's say 1000. Now again holder.itemView.animate dot translation x, let's say 200. dot set duration. It will be, let's say, 1500 seconds dot start. Now again after this, I'll again call handler dot post delay. After, let's say, 2500 seconds, folder dot item view dot animate dot translation x minus 200 dot set duration for again 1500 seconds dot start. Should work now. Yeah, so set this to 0. So this way you can animate your views, and so that's it. Thanks for watching.